and welcome to another session of Sunday Setups. Today we have the main man Jacob combined with myself, the one and only Vel. I hope you guys are well and you're safe and you're enjoying the lockdown break. We're going to go over some pairs today, but before we do that, as always, please make sure you like and subscribe. But more importantly, guys, head over to litcapital.co.uk. Have a look at the Education Academy. We've got tons of value there. That's free of charge. Also, if you head over to the courses, you'll be provided with an in-depth understanding of what we provide, from crash courses to mentorship. But more importantly, guys, we've also got free access to our Discord through the courses page, so check it out for sure. We're going to start today by looking over at what's in store for the week ahead on the Forex economical calendar. And in that, I'll pass it over to you, Jay.
Appreciate you, Val. Yeah, so let's take a look at the upcoming forecast for the week, just to give us a brief outlook as to what we should be focusing on in terms of opportunities. So as we scan into Monday, nothing really major happening in regards to high impact news. So Mondays might be a consolidation day, we don't know. There could be a few things that have happened over the weekend, but nothing that stands out for me in order to say we might get a crazy gap to open up the charts, but we have to just wait and see. Heading into Tuesday, we do have some meeting minutes in regards to the Aussie, where, you know, they're going to be speaking on policy and stuff like that in regards to the central bank over there. We have some economic sentiment coming out of Germany and Euro. That could be something in regards to changing of sentiment in regards to the euro going higher. But when I go over to the charts and the technicals, I'll show you a bit about that. Fed Chairman Powell is going to testify, so that could provide something in regards to the DXY also. Then we have Wednesday. Bit of CPI news coming out of England. So, you know, consumer price index. It's not the most volatile. It doesn't provide the most volatility, but it is still an important component in regards to fundamental analysis. If you are one of those fundamental analysis guys, you will be looking at CPI information. Before we get into it as well, if I go any further, like if you don't understand fundamental definitions, please check out our website where we do have a tab where it's connected to all of these definitions, so you can actually get a bit of an understanding as to what it is, why we're looking for these high impact releases, and why they are what they say they are in terms of importance. So yeah, head over to Lit Capital. Pretty much heading into Thursday, we do have some unemployment news for the Australian dollar. So this is due to provide some type of move for sure regarding Thursday's trading day. Unemployment and interest rates are the biggest things coming out of what we look for in terms of opportunity in the market. So definitely looking forward to that. We actually have some Swiss interest rate decisions as well. So I'm not really a big Swiss currency trader. I don't really look at pairs including the Swiss franc. But if you are and you do have pairs lined up, then just note down that there are interest rates coming out of Switzerland on the Thursday. So those trade in London session on Thursday morning. Definite heads up for that. Going into New York session Thursday, we got a good one with the interest rate decision for the pound. Right, so right now it is pretty low in regards to the percentages at, because they've had the emergency cuts and they've kept the rate the same for a little while now. But, you know, all news coming out of central banks are basically, you know, they should shoot your ears up in regards to the next steps that the banks are going to be taking within the pandemic exclusively as well, especially. So definitely looking forward to Thursday. Thursday should bring us some great opportunities and some entries or things prior to Thursday. We should see some things lining up, hopefully, that give us that edge. So definitely looking forward to that. And then Friday, not much going on, to be honest. Quite a stale Friday. So there are some things throughout the week with Thursday and Tuesday. So let's look out for those. Gonna go over to the charts now, and I'm actually going to start with AUD USD. I will go to oil in a sec. I want to start with AUD USD. So right now I am bearish on this pair because I'm expecting a retracement back down to around the 66,800 level, because we've been, those that do follow this pair, we have been bullish for a few weeks now. So we've actually finally taken out this high that was there from the just before the start of the year, and now we've actually had a real you know, so a liquidity grab, so to speak. We're actually having a great impact and reaction from this area. So hopefully, as we can see on the higher time frames, we know what we're looking for in terms of opportunity and areas of reaction. So the weekly showing us it could come as low as 65,500. But you know, when you go down and you try and refine these areas, we may get reactions a bit before that. So you know, this area will be the first area I'm looking at. So I will be looking to sell down because I do think the opportunity it's worth the risk. So the risk to reward is actually worth it. So I'm actually placing an alert just above. I think it's a, yeah. Where was it? I think it was the, oh no, my alert's been moved. So I actually have my alert above this high here, just to see if we get a dip above last week's double high that it made. If not, we are at a candle now on the 1 hour where the original spike up and we got this big engulfing happen. But we did not get a lower low. So we could get a deeper retracement higher just to take this out and a sell down. So hoping that formulates sometime during the open session. But as you can see, we've reacted off of an area here, but I don't think it's going to continue higher, because I just feel like it's been bullish for so long. We do need that retracement down in order to get the buy again, if it is going to be. So still bullish overall in my opinion, but I do think we need a retracement. So over to pound USD, pretty similar. We had a big sell-off last week in regards to these equal highs being taken out, and we are seeing some bearish engulfing action. So as we can see as well on this, the DXY was crazy week last week, so we definitely got the pound strength. Everyone was buying in on the pound, but I am expecting lower areas to be met. We have an imbalance on this area on 4 hour, where, you know, the first area I personally will be looking at is this candle here, as it's right above where this imbalanced area is. But if that area doesn't materialize, then we do have this daily area where this candle's been marked. So a lot to look out for. Whether this move is ready in regards to the big bearish swing that we're actually in, I'm not sure yet. It's hard to tell because we haven't really got a breaker structure on the daily time frame. It's just literally looking like a retracement as well. So we could get a move down to then continue higher. So definitely look out for that. Move over to euro pound, and I'm still bullish on the euro. So I'm still expecting higher prices to be met, just going off of higher time frame setting. I am aware that we can get a push down as well to this weekly candle where we had this move, which is quite some pips away, almost for the body actually. Let's get that. About 90 pips away. So we could get a retracement to then go higher, but I do think we need to go higher before we get a sell-off back down. So I am aware of this liquidity area resting below where I had that weekly candle marked, but I would like to see prices push higher for this. So I will be handing all of these out on the Discord as well when we get more of the picture given to us. So overall, still bullish on this. Final pair that I'm going to give you guys is oil. So I don't know if many of you guys trade oil. If you do, the technicals on this are quite powerful. They do seem to follow each other. So I am still needing a retracement on this in order to enter a buy, because I do think we are going to see higher prices in regards to this area here, but that's still that's about 800 pips away. So I am hoping for a retracement in regards to, on the daily, we got this bearish engulfing candle. I'm hoping to get more of a retracement lower and take some of this liquidity, because it has been in a buying pressure. There's been a lot of buying pressure for a long time. So I would like to see this double bottom taken out. So as you can see, the candle I've highlighted that I'm looking to play from, I've got an alert set for this. So pretty confident we can get a move down on this, because it's been bullish for a few weeks now. If you remember when we actually had the oil dump off, it's actually recovered more than I expected in the time frame anyway. So I'm hoping that we can get a bit of a retracement down to become buyers again. So this would definitely be the first target for me, which again, the risk to reward makes it lucrative. So $3,800 level, $38 level, excuse me, down to about the 34 level, just above 400 pips. It's definitely looking like we can get that move down. So that's all I've got for the week ahead. If I do see anything else formulating, we'll be putting it in the Discord. Over to you, Val.
Thank you very much, Jay. Sorry, I was on mute there, guys. Can you not hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm going to take you through a few pairs. I've got my eye on the DXY, just understanding what's ahead of us. We need to really understand the dollar, the direction of the dollar. If we can decipher the direction of the dollar, it can make things a lot more easier for us when looking to trade. So initially, you guys have been with us now for some time, and every Sunday setup I've said I've been anticipating the DXY to come lower and lower and lower. But today I was looking at the DXY and I thought, well, for the amount of downside it has to come, we're gonna probably need to see a pullback before we see a bigger move to the downside. And if you think about it, just the other day we was around the 99, 100 level. So, for us to even be as low as 97, I know we went to the lows of 96. For us to even have been around these areas here, you can see was at 95.60. It's really been a deep enough move for us to consider a potential push back up now before maybe a push to the downside. What sticks out to me on the weekly time frame is just these equal highs above here. And when I go down to a daily time frame, I'm also thinking about the bearish sell-off that we've had. Okay, now for the past 10 days, we've been heavily bearish, which has probably now led a lot of buyers to turn to sellers. So I would think that round about now, the buyers who have turned to sellers are now, of course, going to be the target audience for the market makers to take out. So I'd actually like to see the dollar now regain some strength this week. We can see a perfect reaction off of this daily lit block here. And prices pushing to the upside. So I'd now target, if I just remove this fib, where I would target now would be these lows. If I go over to the line chart, the first low would be my interest. That would be of interest, just to see if price can mitigate from around these levels here. So I'm looking to see the dollar actually regain some temperamental strength for the continuation to the downside. Who knows? The dollar might just be bullish throughout the whole of the week to come and maybe take out these highs. Okay, if it does take out these highs, it's something that we have got at the back of our minds that it can do. But really, when I'm looking at the bond and the yield markets, the bond market's also telling me, a similar picture, which is the reason why I'm thinking now the dollar could continue to push higher. Monday, as usual, we'll be sitting on the sidelines to see what happens. And we'll keep you guys informed in the Discord. So make sure if you're not already in the Discord, head over to our website, litcapital.co.uk. Head on to the courses page, purchase the Discord access so that you can actually see our thoughts on the week ahead. I'm going to go over US 30 this week. I don't usually go over US 30, but I think a lot of you now have the accounts to trade this, so why not? So again, if we're looking at US 30 from a monthly perspective, the monthly time frame, we've had a massive sell-off. Okay, we had a massive sell-off, a massive move to the upside. And we even had a level here that we could contemplate shorting from around the 27,300 level. We've actually seen, you know, a sniper reaction off of that level. Price has actually pulled back now massively. So now what I would like to see before I could even contemplate buying is this 24,670 level here touched before I could think about buying. I'm looking at this candle here, this last down candle, and I'm thinking, I'd like to see this candle. I'd like to see a reaction around this candle. If I go down to the daily, if I can see a reaction around this candle, which is not, it's not that lower compared to where it is now. For all we know, the market could gap downwards and then refill the gap and continue to push higher. So it depends on what's going to happen. But if we are going to see a rise in the dollar, then I would like to see a decline in the equities market, in the indices. So futures, I'm actually expecting to push down a lot deeper, but it just depends on what we're seeing. On the weekly time frame here, there's other levels that actually do come to my attention. If I move this one, there's other blocks that we could actually play off of, which we could potentially see a more sharper direction from. But nonetheless, it's still going to be a big sell-off. Okay, from here down to here would be over 1,000 pips. So, you know, for us to look at levels coming down here, I don't think we're going to see a massive decline like what we saw over here. One thing you guys have probably noticed as well, not just in the Forex market, but in general, and if you don't know this, you'll know it now. It takes a lot longer, okay, for price to build up than it does for price to actually wipe out everything. So what we've seen here is, you know, a number of days, probably 20 days of price trailing to get to this high point, and then within 3 days, price is almost taking out half of what it done within 10 days worth of work. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw prices continue to come lower before we look at buying. It just depends on what's actually happening. I do know that there's a potential stimulus package that can be on the cards, which is only going to mean more money for equities. If you look at the global debt at the moment, the global debt for America is always it's increasing at an alarming rate. But if you see where they're putting the money all into equities. So I'm predicting that we're going to see a continuation of equities rise. But in order for us to see that, then it means that one time only we're going to see either the dollar rise or indices rise, or the futures will rise and the dollar will fall. So it's going to be one or the other. So at the moment, I'd like to see the dollar push higher, which would then coincide with me wanting to see US 30 drop a lot lower. But stay tuned in the Discord, and of course, we'll be sure to tell you more. My last pair is EURNZD. I think this is my last one. EURNZD, if we look at it again from the higher time frame, if we go on the line chart, the line chart always paints out a clear picture. We can see that highs was taken out to the left side, this previous high here, but these highs above haven't been taken out. Okay, so we haven't actually seen the structure break. Okay, and for that reason, when we go down to a smaller time frame, what we're now looking at is this level here. Okay, this previous high, I'd like to see price come down to that level. Now, in order for price to actually come to that level, it's probably around 700 pips, 800 pips, 900 pips. Okay, I'm buzzing. 283 pips. I think that was another pair that I told you guys about earlier. But nonetheless, okay, yeah, that was it. 200 pips to the downside for us to potentially catch a nice buy. Now, I say this with a mindset that I'm taking into consideration the fact the structure is bearish. Okay, I understand that. I'd like to see this low come to the downside and see a reaction around this level. We've got an institutional level here. I'd like to see price, you know, react off of here gracefully and push back up to give us maybe 200 to 300 pips. But if you go down to the 4 hour, the 4 actually shows us that we actually caught a nice move off of this breaker candle here that could give us a short to come down. So unfortunately, if we didn't catch the short already, it's something that we're going to have to watch. But then what I am looking at is this candle around the 88% level. Straight away, I'm thinking to myself, if I'm going to catch a buy, it's got to be between the 62 and the 88. And what I can see is the last down candle striking out to be a candle that represents a lit block, which some people can also, it can also represent an institutional candle. So I'd like to see around the 88% level if we can get some type of rejection, which can give us an indication to go higher. So you guys look out for that on Monday, Tuesday, see what the markets bring us. If I'm looking on a smaller time frame, 6 a.m. Okay, so the European session candle is here. So we want to see what happens around this European session candle. Yeah, around this candle here, we could mark out 50% of that one. And we just really want to see if we can get a reaction off of that. The other forms of confluences we would have is there's an equal low within here, which would create liquidity. The structure would also be changing as well, which would also mirror a pullback, which could then potentially give us to the upside at least 100, 150, if not all the way back up to this institutional level here, which would be over 270 pips. So that's what I'm looking at for the week. We'll be sure to keep you guys informed, up to date in the Discord. This copy trading channel's really lit at the moment. We'll be sure to throw you guys as many trades as possible. Also with the stocks, we've got a podcast coming out this week, so look out for that. The podcast is going to be an in-depth review on the stocks market, how to actually get a foothold in investing into it if you haven't already, and to just generally learn something new, which can benefit you guys in your trading career. So on that note, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like the video if you found it helpful. Subscribe if you haven't already. And watch out for the next video. Remember, every day is money day.
Hey.